This lady tried cutting me off. Now she's got fake lights going. It's a license plate to the right lane. Oh, she's pulling out.
You should pull me over. Someone's a state cop pulling me over.
You're a state cop pulling me over? All right, yeah, she said she's a state police officer pulling me over.
Then criminal charges all day long. That's pretty easy to do.
Guys, you haven't seen me drive, well, ever. But I can legally drive again. And what do you think the chances are that within my first 24 hours back on the road, that a fake cop tries to pull me over and then gets herself charged? That's right, folks. Driving through Leominster, Massachusetts, when a person in a vanilla Cadillac Escalade, about 2 cars behind me, tries to beat the light. So she speeds up, cuts off the person behind me, and then tries to cut me off, forcing me into oncoming traffic. I was able to slow down, stay where I was, and she actually hopped the curb. At that moment, she activated the cheapest and most bogus lights that I've ever seen. We were quick enough and smart enough to start recording the interaction. The crazed blonde woman pretending to be a police officer, driving erratically and trying to take possession of us and pull us over, can be seen in the window screaming for us to pull over. And you can see her say, "I'm a cop." Finally, when we get to an intersection, we're about to take a right onto a street, she speeds up, gets in the right lane, cutting us off, and then says, "I'm a state cop, and when a state cop pulls you over, you have to pull over." We immediately called law enforcement to let them know that there's a fake cop on the loose, because the only thing more dangerous than a real tyrant cop is a fake one. They're going to look up this woman by her license plate, and as the cop said, she will be criminally charged all day long. And to impersonate a police officer, you don't just say, "I'm a cop." You have to say that you're a police officer and then give some type of command. This woman took it a step beyond, being in a car, putting everyone else in danger, activating emergency lights, representing herself as a police officer, and giving us a command. This is something that could have her in prison for years. And I'll say this, in the off chance that she was a cop, because sometimes police officers do equip lights in their personal vehicles for when they're doing details, stuff like that. They actually have real, legit lights. This is an $80 set of lights that's trash. You can plug into the AC of your car, and you can get off Amazon. Let's say even if she was a police officer, she's out of her jurisdiction, off duty, in a personal vehicle with not state accredited lights, trying to conduct a bogus traffic stop. Well, like if she wasn't a cop, she'd be getting charged. If she turned out to be, she'd be getting charged and losing her job. But we all know she's not a real cop. So, lady, if you're watching, take notice, because you got caught. And how quickly she did it. That's a problem too. You know that we're not the first person she tried that with. She gets her road rage and she throws on her lights and she's able to get through traffic and get people to pull over. Maybe she's even pulled somebody over. But what do you think the chances were this morning when she woke up? She said, "I'm going to be the world's worst driver. I'm going to have road rage. I'm going to throw on my lights, give orders, and identify myself as a police officer. And I'm going to do it to a large YouTuber who makes a living exposing dirty cops and has a couple viral videos of police impersonators on his own. But Ann Arano is a boss in this. Subscribe to her. And that's the reason I stopped you today." And one last thing. You guys will notice that I do give my ID. There cannot be a victim of a crime unless there is a victim. The only time there's a John Doe victim is if that person is deceased. So I did absolutely give my ID to make sure that I could be a complaining party to get this fake tyrant cop off the road. I don't want real tyrant cops on the road. I do not want fake ones at that. This lady tried cutting me off. Now she's got fake lights going. It's a license plate, R33S. Well, now she turned her lights off. She saw the camera. I'm calling.
Did you get the license plate?
R33S.
That's it?
It's a Cadillac Escalade.
You want me to still record?
I'm trying to call her now.
911, this line is recorded. What is the address of your emergency?
I'm about to take a right on Day Street. I'm not sure the name of the street. There's a white Cadillac Escalade behind me. Tried to cut me off. When they got behind me, they threw on red and like violet or white lights. It's a white Cadillac Escalade. I think it's tag R33S.
Okay, are they still behind you?
They're still behind me. They keep flashing their lights and telling me to like pull over. Looks like a blonde woman. I'm approaching an intersection where there's looks like a Brazilian restaurant called Brazuco. And now she went into the right lane. She's pulling her.
You should pull me over when someone's a state cop pulling me
You're
over.
a state cop pulling me over? Alright, yeah, she said she's a state police officer pulling me over. What's going on, guys? We're at the Leominster PD. So, as you can see, a fake cop tried pulling us over, saying they were a state trooper. We videoed it, so I'm coming to make a formal report.
Okay, yeah, I'll be in touch. Just tell, and then, I don't know.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
What's going on.
I was just
My phone's about to
on Main Street, approaching the intersection where the Brazuco is on Day Street. There was a white, like a cream colored Cadillac Escalade behind me. Tried to like cut me off and come around. It got stuck behind me. At that point, it threw on lights, so we recorded it. And then she kept yelling out the window to pull over and yelling in the windshield to pull over. Finally, we were trying to take a right onto Day Street. She cut us off, drove up next to us, and ordered us to pull over and told us that she was a state police officer. We called 911, but there was like no service out by there. So they wanted us to pull over and wait for a police officer to come, a state trooper, but we couldn't. We had no service. We finally got service back. We spoke to a dispatcher, and they said to either meet you guys somewhere or come to the department.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you guys want to? Obviously, you want to file a report on the incident.
Yeah, I got a video of it as well with their license plate and all that.
Just have a seat. We'll send somebody in to come and talk to you.
All right, thanks.
So that they
Yeah, I'll give you
can see
mine.
the video.
Main is Day Street for the impersonating a police officer, or possibly impersonating a police officer. All right, bye-bye.
Are you here for us?
I think so, yeah.
So we were driving. I know it's Main Street.
Okay.
The Athens Pizza is there on your right.
Yep.
So you know where that like little intersection is where you take a curve, then go to the left to go on Main Street, and there's 2 rows of traffic. So there's like
Is
Athens.
Wyman's on your left?
If I
I
show
don't know
her,
the
she'll
street.
probably
We started
You have the video?
after- Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So we go past Athens underneath that little bridge, that old
Yep.
firehouse is on the left.
Yes.
We take that left there on Main Street, and there is a Cadillac Escalade cream color that tries to come up alongside me, hops the curb a little bit.
On
and-
which side of you?
On the right side. And
Okay.
tries to like force me into oncoming traffic.
Are you still on Main Street?
Still
or-
on Main Street, yes. So at that point, I have my permit. So I'm like driving like a grandfather. So I'm going like super slow and making sure
Not
that
slow, but
I'm
speed
driving.
limit.
All of a sudden, the lights go on behind me. With my sunglasses on, it looked like it was blue and like a violet, but we looked back, it was blue and white. And she starts motioning through her windshield, pull over, I'm a cop, pull over. So at this point, we get the camera and we start rolling through the rear view to get a good look at her face, get the license plate. And she keeps saying, pull over. Finally, we approach the Brazuco, where the Johnny Appleseed Little Elementary School is. We
Yeah.
take a right onto Day.
Okay.
We were going to go in the right lane. We had our directional on to take a right onto Day Street. She sped up behind us, got up next to us, rolled her window down, and then she said, when a state police officer tells you to pull over, you pull over. And then she sees the camera, and she just takes off.
Okay. Did you get a plate for that vehicle?
Yeah, I got
So,
I believe if you can't see the plate, I read it aloud also.
This lady tried cutting me off. Now she got fake lights going.
Red and white.
Yeah, red and
It's a
white.
license plate R33S.
Because you can't make it out in the video. You can't
Yeah.
see it, but
Now she
So
turned her lights
this
off.
is
She saw
on-
the camera.
This is on Main Street.
That's on
so,
Main,
okay.
about to take a right on today.
she saw the camera, so
Did
it
you get
turned
the
the
license
lights
plate?
off. So I kept recording.
R33S. That's it. Cadillac Escalade. Can we still record?
So now I call 911.
Okay.
Because if they can confirm somehow that it is a police officer and really getting pulled over.
Yeah.
And then this is where she says what she says. So
About to take
hang on a
a
second.
right on Day Street. I'm not sure the name of the street. There's a white Cadillac Escalade behind me. Trying to cut me off. When they got behind me, they threw on red and like violet or white lights. The lights, it's a white Cadillac Escalade. I think it's tag R33S.
Okay, are they still behind you?
They're still behind me. They keep flashing their lights and telling me to like pull over. Looks like a blonde woman. I'm approaching an intersection where there's looks like a Brazilian restaurant called Brazuco.
And this
Now
right
she
there,
just-
that's
she
the
went to the
intersection.
right lane.
Yep.
She's
So
pulling.
what?
You're a state cop pulling me over?
So she said when you should pull over when a state cop is pulling you over.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my experience of this is like, I know that a lot of y'all do like you'll do private detail work, so you'll get like legit light kits in your car for when you do
Yeah.
that personal work. I've seen a lot of it with what I do. I've never seen lights like that. Like those are like the dash lights that you can literally go on Amazon and buy yourself by lifting up the hood. So my concern was she's not a police officer. She's identifying herself as a police officer, and she's giving me a police command. So she's identifying herself as a police officer, or she is an off-duty cop, but in her off-duty capacity in a non-police vehicle with bogus lights, she's now trying to pull me over when she has no jurisdiction and she's off the clock. Like either
Yeah.
way,
Do you have an ID?
yeah, I do. Yeah, actually, I have a copy of my my permit also. If that's something that you
Where
need.
were you in?
Right here, white GMC 2021 Acadia.
Okay. Do you still live in Stoneham right now?
I don't know. Yeah, this is the.
The permit, is it same serial number? I'll look it up.
I don't know how it works. It was like 6 years since I had my license, so I don't know like what changes.
Okay.
You want me to put it back? Or does she still need it?
You have a good phone number?
Yes. Thank you.
And you were in the vehicle as well. Do you have a license?
Oh, let me go get it.
Sorry.
Sorry, playing like musical chairs. I've never seen like I've had like people say they're cops before. I've never had someone like attempt to pull me over. Like I know how police.
Was I supposed to follow him, or I was parked over there?
That's not how police officers
Oh,
conduct.
because you already did come in and talk to
Thank
me.
you.
And I
Oh, I can also pull up the 911 call.
Yeah, that would actually probably be. It says 2:44. Is that correct?
2:44 p.m. Yeah, I made a call to an emergency number at 2:44 p.m.
All right.
Okay.
So it actually probably would have happened about 2 minutes before that because the
Thank
lights
you, sir,
were
for
on
everything.
before we took that left.
Okay.
Yeah, and before I obviously started recording, she had them on. So subtle that I didn't even notice. I'm like, what car
Was it
has
just
their
those lights in the grill, or there's like top
Just the
lights,
grill.
and just the grill ones?
Yeah, there were. I don't know if there was any in the back, but she had no windshield lights.
Well, that's why, like, at first, like, he told me, and I was like, where? Because he's like, record that car shining its lights at me.
Yeah.
Flashing its emergency lights at me. And I was like, what car? I
Yeah.
couldn't even see it originally. And then finally, I was like, it came into view, and I was like, oh, I can see it now because it was only on the grill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my
You can go
friend.
to the window. So
You wanna
the-
step
the-
outside? So
Yeah,
is that
that's
easier for you? I just don't want to get that guy's business on there.
The initial incident where was in what lane?
So there's
Past Athens, under
past
the bridge.
Athens, yeah. You go under the bridge,
And then the two
you
lanes merge. Is that what it
correct.
was?
There's the two light. There's a light there.
Yeah.
And then you can go left to go onto Main Street. Those two lanes converge into one.
Yeah.
So she was actually 2 car lengths behind me.
Yeah.
She sped around the first car, tried to get in front of me. There was no room for me to go, so she hopped the curb by the
Yeah.
church there
Okay,
to get
yeah.
in front. But at this point, I'm almost on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
So I just slowed down, and then the lights came on immediately.
Okay. And that's right by like the old laundromat that was there where the lanes merged together.
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Did she do anything else like while she was continuing to follow you? It wasn't until you almost got to Day Street where she pulled up.
No, so as soon as she turned the lights on, I looked and I was like, she got the lights going? So then we started recording it. She couldn't see the camera. And then she was like, pull over. I'm a cop. Pull over. You can actually see it in the video if you look at the reflection I get of her.
Yeah.
You can see her saying, I'm a cop. Pull over. She puts the window down. She says, I'm a cop. Pull over. I put it up so I could talk to the 911 dispatcher. That goes on for about 2 minutes because it's a good little, maybe 2 miles from
Yeah.
where we were to the lights. And at that point, she just kept doing what she was doing. I was talking to 911, then she pulled up next to us and said,
I can show you one more time, but it's hard to see because it's all like dark.
Right.
See that? But this was the lights flashing.
you might be able to
Yeah.
hear her while
And
I'm talking to the cop.
You see how she's like weaving this way and that? Like she was trying to like somehow like intimidate him and very close to the rear of the vehicle.
Yeah.
And then let me get to the part where she starts to pass. But that
So
way
yeah,
you
she
don't
didn't
to
have the
watch
hood lights like that car right there.
Yeah.
Approaching an intersection where there's looks like a Brazilian restaurant called Brazuco. But now she just
Yeah,
she
he's
went
on
to
the phone
right
with an
lane.
officer.
Yep.
But she's pulling out. You're a state cop pulling me over? Alright, yeah, she said she's a state
Yeah,
police
you should
officer.
pull over when
Okay.
a state cop's pulls.
I mean, and I obviously know she wasn't
Yeah.
a state cop, and I don't think she knew of all the things that could happen to her today. She'd try and
Yeah.
impersonate a police over and pull over a large YouTuber.
Yeah.
But
Anna, can I just get a good phone number for you?
Yeah.
Dispatcher already ran it, so I'm just gonna go to that address. You want to pursue charges against her? If,
I would like to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's wrong to.
Listen,
investigate an officer.
I've had like tow truck guys like flash their lights at me, and
Yeah.
they'll be like, "I gotta go to a call," like, you mind? And I'll just like move over. But
Yeah.
she specifically was like not only forcing me the other direction, she was trying to pull me over. She was trying to effect a stop.
Yeah.
If I didn't know that it looked bogus, I could have pulled over, and she comes up to the car, and then what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a huge safety, and I know that you guys don't like it either because when someone gets pulled over by a police officer, they want to feel, safe that it's a real police officer pulling them over. I think most people know, but that's why I said like even if it was her personal vehicle and she had lights installed just to do detail work, those are cheap bogus lights. But I don't know that anyone else, most reasonable people would look at that. They'd see the lights and then just pull over.
Okay. It's a super long email, but that's my work email. If you want to email that video, so I can attach
I just
it
don't
to
want
the
to get it on
report.
camera.
Um,
Yeah, I can do that right now.
That first initial is an L.
Okay, and just so you know, the video is a little bit longer, so what I'm going to do is there's a free file share service. Sometimes it comes up in the spam. It's
Yeah.
called WeTransfer.
Okay.
So it'll come from my email
No,
address.
it's
or
only
her
like
email
2
address.
minutes. It should be fine to send to email, and if it doesn't, then
We'll
it'll be a
so
week.
just, I'll call and let you know.
Okay.
If I couldn't upload it, it's too long, that I'll send it to WeTransfer. But it'll come up as my email address, and the whole thing will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Our spam usually blocks stuff for a couple days anyway, so if I get it in a couple days, then I'll add it to the report.
Okay.
a minute 33 seconds.
Yeah, that should send.
Yeah.
But
So what happens from here?
so I'm gonna find out who she is. If she is indeed a law enforcement officer, I'll document it, run it past my supervisor, see what he thinks regarding that video, like what actually happened, whether the action was appropriate or not. If it's not a police officer, then criminal charges all day long. That's pretty easy to do.
Is it, now just so I know, because it's actually something I don't know the answer to, if you are an off-duty police officer, personal vehicle, and you're like trying to get through traffic or something, or this happens, she's a real cop, is she within her rights? to
That
do
really
something like
depends
that?
on like each department's like policy and procedure.
Okay.
And I don't know which department she actually works for, if she does work for one, so I
Right.
wouldn't be able to tell you the answer to that.
Right. And it's hard to like take. In his situation, it's hard to take that seriously when somebody appears to be impersonating an
Yeah.
officer.
Yeah, I mean,
What-
you did the
what-
right thing by calling
yeah.
911, being like, hey, there's potentially an undercover. I don't know who this is.
Well, that's the thing. I got an alertness permit, right? Like, I don't want to, like, avoid a traffic stop. So
Yeah.
if I ever have a question, I call 911, say, this is the person behind me. Is it a cop?
Yeah.
If you're not sure, I'm going to pull over. Can you send out a police officer to...
And
like,
then when
make
she
sure
drove
everything's-
away, it was hard to really do anything at that point. Like, if she was an officer, what do you do?
Yeah.
She was
Well,
pulling him over, but then not pulling him over. Like,
And she didn't
what?
say, like, she's from a city. She was very smart to say, I'm a state cop, because how many barracks exists where... And I think you could tell, but look at that lady's not a cop. I mean, the way that she talked, the way that she carried herself, that light kit I can get for $50 from Amazon. But I appreciate your help. I will get
Yeah.
that to you 15 minutes as soon as I get home.
Okay.
And then, of course, please feel free to reach out to me and,
Yeah,
and
no
follow
problem.
up.
Thank you.
Right,
When
right
should
up.
he follow up? The other
Oh, I'm
night?
sorry. Yeah, she's in the sun. Yeah, should we expect to get her? When should we expect to get back?
So I'll try to handle this today. If I have to follow up tomorrow, I'll give you a call tomorrow because I'm on tomorrow as well.
Man, you gotta get
Okay.
you some Ray-Bans. Look at these things. It's
There,
like...
actually, I left them in the report room.
Oh,
so
I'm sorry.
I
All right.
gotta
Well,
go grab
thank you
those.
very much.
I like
Appreciate
your
it.
ring. It makes sense because you
Yeah.
can still wear your ring and it not get bent or broken or
Yep.
anything.
After you,
All
my
right, thank
friend.
you.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. All right, guys, and I did have issues at the Leominster Public Library. Never had issues at the PD. In fact, I audited them about 2 years ago. They seem to do the right thing. And this is what you got to do. Listen, I don't ever give my ID if I'm suspected of something and I haven't committed any crimes. But when you're the victim of something, the only way to hold someone accountable to remain a victim is to identify. And to be a victim, you can't have a victim John Doe unless that person's deceased, right? So I want this fake cop to be held to the standard of the law. So don't listen. We hold accountability on real cops. Make sure we hold accountability on fake cops. That's the reason I stopped you today. Thanks for watching the whole video, and let's go over a few safety tips. If you see someone in a clearly marked police car that you know is actually a police officer, once those lights go on, if you don't feel safe where you are, there's actually case law and policy protecting you to not stop where you are, but to safely continue traveling to the police department that police officer's out of. You can even call up 911 or the police and say, hey, listen, there's a police officer behind me. I believe them to be a police officer. I do not feel comfortable. You can let them know that I'm on my way to the police station and the traffic stop can be conducted there. But watch out for the fake cops. I've had it happen before. They'll pull out a badge. They'll say that they're police officers. They'll try and give you these crazy commands, and you can pretty much tell that they're not police. Immediately let somebody know. Film as much as you can if it's safe to do so while you're driving, and continue to file a report and make sure you get them off the streets. We have enough bad cops in the world. We don't want to have to deal with the fake ones. I will give an update soon, letting you guys know the actual identity of this person, the charges that were filed, and copies of the reports as they come into me. Shout out to the Leominster police officer, Officer Dion, who did a great job handling this issue. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to Banana Rana, and that's the reason I stopped you today.